Hey, I'm Nick. It's one of those nights where everything seems ordinary. The kids are in bed, the house is quiet, and the leftover pizza sits on the kitchen counter. I'm clearing the plates, Vanessa's in the living room flipping through a magazine. Just another evening. Except this time, I notice her phone buzzing on the kitchen table. The screen lights up, the name flashing in bold, unmistakable letters, Greg. The message preview says, "Looking forward to tomorrow, hope we can catch up." I freeze. Greg? I don't know anyone named Greg. I don't have a habit of snooping through her things, but something about that name gnaws at me. I've seen Greg at company events before, a fellow consultant, always too friendly with Vanessa. It's nothing major, nothing that made me suspicious before. But tonight, in the stillness of the house, that message feels off. I put the plates down and sit at the table, staring at the phone. The notifications keep coming in, steady and consistent. "Did you get my last email? Can't wait for tomorrow." My stomach churns. The words feel like more than just casual work talk. Vanessa calls out from the other room. "You okay?" "Yeah," I say, trying to sound normal, not too panicked. I grab the phone, push it out of sight, and head back to the living room. She's flipping through her magazine, oblivious. The next day, I don't mention anything. But the thought doesn't leave my mind. I try to push it away, telling myself it's nothing. She's been distant lately, sure, but we've both been working long hours. I can't remember the last time we really sat down together without distractions, just the two of us. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just reading too much into things. But later that night, after the kids are asleep and the house is quiet again, Vanessa is sitting at the kitchen counter, sipping her wine. I watch her for a moment before speaking up. "Who's Greg?" Her eyes dart to mine, and for a moment, I catch a flicker of something, guilt maybe? But it's gone almost immediately. She smiles, a little too wide. "Oh, just a colleague. You know, from work. We've been collaborating on a project for a while." I nod, but something about her tone doesn't sit right. It doesn't add up. "I saw your messages." She hesitates, her fingers tightening around the stem of her glass. "Nick, it's nothing. Honestly. He's just a friend. Nothing more." I lean back in my chair. "It didn't seem like nothing." Her voice softens. "It's really not what it looks like. We've been talking about work stuff, personal stuff, but it's not what you think." I want to argue, to push her further, but I don't. Instead, I take a breath and say, "Are we really doing this? Are we really going to pretend this is nothing?" She looks at me, and for a brief moment, her walls crack. "I swear, Nick. It's only emotional. He's just someone I can talk to." I stare at her, fighting the knot in my stomach. I don't know what to say. Everything inside me screams to run, to demand more, but I don't. I stay quiet. We agree to talk about it more, to try counseling, but I can't shake the feeling that something's already broken. We never talk about Greg again, but I know I'll be watching. It's been weeks. We're in the middle of counseling now, both of us showing up like we're supposed to, but I'm not sure if I'm doing it for her or for the kids. Maybe it's both. I tell myself we're here because I want to believe it can work, but something still feels wrong. Vanessa agrees to the terms. Limited contact with Greg, outside of work. No more late-night texts. No more, innocent, meetings that turn into something else. She swears it's nothing but emotional, but it's not enough. I can't ignore the damage already done, the way everything between us has shifted. She promises to drink less, too. A small thing, maybe, but it hits too close to home. I'm not sure why it matters, but it does. I've seen her tip back too many drinks on too many nights when we're alone, when the pressure gets to her, when she gets too comfortable. We talk more. Not much more, but there's progress. I think we're trying, both of us, in our own way. Vanessa's still here, still trying to fix things. The kids don't notice the tension as much, but I can see the cracks. The way their smiles fade when they sense it's not the same. We agree on something one night, sitting at the kitchen table. The kids are in bed, the house quiet except for the hum of the fridge and the occasional creak of the floorboards. We want the same thing, Vanessa says, her voice low. We want to make it work, for them. For us. She sounds genuine, but there's something behind her eyes that I can't put my finger on. I nod. Yeah. We're trying. But this isn't just about us. It's about keeping the family together. The kids need us, Vanessa. She agrees, but the words feel too rehearsed. There's a limit to what I can believe anymore. I go to counseling on my own, too. It's supposed to help me, I guess, but all I can do is sit there and listen to someone tell me what I already know, what I already see every day. Vanessa's still slipping, her promises to change fading into old habits. The drinking. The phone, always a bit too protective, always a bit too guarded when it rings or buzzes. And Greg? He's still around, still a part of the company. Still impossible to avoid. I don't know how to make peace with that. The counselor suggests we keep pushing forward. You both want the same things, even if you're not sure how to get there, she says, but I can't shake the feeling that we're stuck in place. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. We try to go out more as a family, take the kids to the park, out for dinner, anything to make things feel normal again. For a while, it almost works. Vanessa and I even managed to share a laugh one evening, something that felt like it used to be easy between us. But it doesn't last long. Then, one night I get a call. It's late, well after 10 p.m. Vanessa's in the bathroom, phone left unattended on the kitchen counter. A number I don't recognize flashes across the screen. I don't pick it up, don't even look at it for more than a few seconds, but I can feel the pulse in my chest quicken. My mind jumps to the worst, Greg. When Vanessa comes back, I don't say anything. I don't ask. I can't. But I see it. Her hesitation when she reaches for her phone, the quick swipe to silence the buzzing. She knows I saw. The next day, the drinking picks up again. We go to a work function, a casual affair. Nothing big, just colleagues mingling. But she's different, drinks a little too much, gets a little too talkative. I'm watching her. Watching the way she keeps looking at her phone when it buzzes, and I don't know what to think anymore. Maybe you'd be better off with someone else, she says quietly, almost to herself, after a few too many glasses of wine. Her voice is thick, a little unsteady, but the words hit hard. I don't answer. What am I supposed to say? But she keeps going. I mean, maybe I'm too much for you. Maybe you deserve better. It's like she's trying to convince herself. Like she's afraid of what I'm thinking. I don't argue. I don't fight it. I just nod. Later, she tells me she wants to keep trying. I still want to make it work, Nick, she says. But it feels empty, rehearsed, like a broken record. We don't talk about the call. Not yet. Not until later, when things start to shift again. It's been a couple of months since we agreed to try again. The counseling sessions continue. Some days, it feels like we're making progress. Other days, it's like we're stuck, going through the motions without really getting anywhere. The kids are adjusting, I think. But it's clear to me that things aren't as smooth as they seem. Vanessa's phone has become a problem. She used to leave it lying around, face up, or leave it in the kitchen while we ate. Now, it's always within arm's reach, always face down. I catch her glancing at it when she thinks I'm not looking, her expression hardening when a message comes through. The first time it happened, I told myself I was overthinking it. But now, it's undeniable. I can see her hesitating before answering calls, and sometimes she steps into the other room to talk. I used to trust her. Hell, I used to never even think twice about her phone or who she was texting. But now, every time it buzzes, I feel that familiar unease settle in my stomach. I try not to ask too many questions, but it's getting harder to ignore. The way she picks it up too fast when I'm near. The way her face falls when she sees me watching. And it's not like she's hiding a work email or family stuff anymore. It's something different, something I can't put my finger on, but I know it's there. We still go to counseling, of course. We're supposed to be working on rebuilding, on getting back to what we were. Sometimes, I can almost believe it. But then there are moments when I catch her acting differently, like she's still keeping something from me. We went out with friends the other night. Nothing fancy, just a dinner to try to be normal again. Vanessa had a few drinks. More than a few. I'm not a saint, but I've seen this before, her going a little too far, like she's trying to drown something. I don't say anything. I don't need to. The pattern is starting to repeat itself. Maybe you'd be better off with someone else, she says after her second glass of wine. It's quiet, almost like she doesn't mean for me to hear. I pretend I didn't. I can't get caught in this again, not after everything. But the words linger, heavy in the air. She doesn't apologize for them, doesn't try to explain. She just says them, like they've been waiting to come out for a long time. We don't talk about it. I don't push her. But it's there. It's like a thread that's starting to unravel. And the phone? It's worse now. A couple of days later, I see her checking it again, stepping into the other room. She's more protective of it, always keeping it within reach but out of sight. She won't leave it on the table anymore, even when we're having dinner. It's small things, really, but they add up. They don't make sense. And then, the real kicker, work events. She's been going to more of them lately. I tell myself it's just part of the job, that I shouldn't get paranoid. But when she comes home late from another one, her eyes a little too bright, her words a little too fast, something in me snaps. The next weekend, we have a company social. A low-key thing, nothing too formal. But it's the way she drinks. A lot more than usual. I don't say anything, don't want to start a scene, but it's clear she's getting buzzed. I can feel it before she even says it, that shift. Maybe I'm not the one for you anymore, she says, leaning against the wall, her voice slurring. You deserve someone who's more in tune with you. It's not the first time I've heard it, but it's different this time. It doesn't feel like a joke, doesn't feel like she's trying to make light of things. It feels like a real goodbye, like she's telling me she's done trying. I don't argue. I don't fight it. What's the point? Later, when we're home, she tells me she still wants to work on things. I'm sorry, she says, her voice soft, like it's supposed to fix everything. But it doesn't. It doesn't fix the things I see in her eyes, the way she keeps retreating into herself. She's already pulled away, and I can't pretend I don't see it anymore. The distance is there, and no amount of counseling or promises is going to bridge it. A few weeks have passed since the last time things felt almost right. We've kept up with the counseling, the talks, the promises. The kids are still our focus, and I keep telling myself I'm doing the right thing. But everything feels strained, like we're holding something together by a thread. The business trip comes out of nowhere. Vanessa mentions it in passing, like it's nothing. A weekend conference, she says. Just 2 colleagues going, no big deal. It doesn't register at first, not until she's packing, her suitcase open on the bed. That's when she casually drops the name of the third person attending. Wait, I say, my voice tightening. You didn't mention him before. She hesitates, eyes darting away. I didn't think it mattered. I freeze. It matters. It matters because I've been down this road before. And the moment she says his name, I know. The pieces fall into place. The weird distance, the texts, the nervous glances, the way she started to avoid me. It's him. The colleague. The one she's been keeping at arm's length, the one I haven't met. I don't ask any more questions. I don't need to. I already know what's going on. The lie is too big, and I'm too tired to ignore it anymore. You didn't think it mattered? I repeat, my voice low, barely a whisper, but it hits her like a punch. I'm sorry, she says quickly, her eyes flickering to the door like she wants to escape. It's not like that. It's just... I don't know. He's just a friend. Nothing's happening. The words don't sit right with me. They don't even make sense. Friends don't travel together for work weekends. Friends don't hide details. And friends don't make excuses like that. Don't lie to me, Vanessa. I snap. I already know what's going on. Don't make this worse. She steps back, startled. I watch her retreat, her hands trembling, as if she's unsure of what to say next. Her face falls, and in that moment, I see the real truth. She can't hide it anymore. Nick, her voice cracks. It's not what you think. We're not. It's just that he's been there for me when you haven't. I didn't want you to find out like this. There it is. The words I've been avoiding, the words I've feared. She didn't want me to find out because she didn't care enough to be honest. Not really. Not when it mattered. The silence between us feels heavy, thick with everything unsaid. I'm so fucking tired of this. Of her excuses, of her empty apologies, of the way she's been pulling away, piece by piece. I don't even know who she is anymore. You're going to go, aren't you? I ask, my voice flat, as if I've already resigned myself to it. I don't know. She stops, unable to finish the sentence. Yeah, you are. I can feel my heart rate picking up, my hands shaking, but I hold it together. You're going, and you're not coming back. Not the way you were. She stares at me, her face pale, her lips trembling. She knows it too. The betrayal is too much, too blatant now to deny. And when the phone rings, and she jumps for it like she's afraid I'll see who it is, I don't wait for her to answer. I don't need to. This is it, Vanessa, I say, the finality in my voice like a door slamming shut. We're done. The room feels too small, too suffocating. She stands there, frozen, and for the first time, I don't want to fix this. Not anymore. I don't care how many times she apologizes or tries to convince me that this is still salvageable. I grab my jacket, my keys, and walk out the door. A few days have passed since I walked out of that house. The house where everything used to feel normal. Where the laughter of our kids echoed off the walls. Now it's quiet, too quiet. I'm staying with a friend for the time being, and each hour feels like a weight pressing down on me. I can't escape the constant thought that I've failed somehow, even though I know I haven't. The divorce papers came this morning. I signed them without hesitation. Vanessa's lawyer sent them over with a brief note. She couldn't bring herself to meet me face to face. I don't blame her. There's nothing left to say. I stare at the papers for a while, letting the finality of it settle in. It's over. For good. I think about the kids. They don't know yet. I can't bring myself to tell them. Not yet. I'll need time to figure out what to say, how to explain this without breaking their hearts too much. I make the call to my lawyer. We've already discussed everything in broad terms. Custody, assets, the house. I don't care about the house anymore. Vanessa can have it. I don't even want to walk through those doors again. I want out of it all, the lies, the distance, the betrayal. That night Vanessa calls. She doesn't say much at first. Her voice cracks, and I don't want to listen to it. It's the same voice she used when she told me she wasn't having an affair. It's the same voice that tried to convince me it was all my fault. But I know better now. I'm sorry, Nick, she says after a long pause. I should have been honest with you. I didn't mean to hurt you. I never meant for it to go this far. I close my eyes. I've heard it all before. The apology. The regret. But I don't want it. Not anymore. You've had your chance, Vanessa. I say, the words coming out colder than I intended. You can't undo what's been done. There's a long silence on the other end of the line. I can hear her breathing. She's probably crying, but I don't care. I don't care about the tears anymore. She made her choice. Please, she says, desperation creeping into her voice. I'm not asking for us to get back together. I need you to understand. It wasn't about you. It was about me. I don't say anything. I don't need to. I already know it was never about me. It was about her and her escape from everything she didn't want to face. I don't want to keep fighting, she continues. We need to figure this out for the kids. Please. Let's try to do this right. I exhale sharply, the frustration building up again. You want to do it right now? I ask, bitterness creeping into my voice. After everything? Now you want to fix it? She's quiet, but I can hear the guilt in her silence. The truth is, I'm done. Done with the lies, done with the pretending. I'm done with her. I'll pick them up tomorrow, I say, finally breaking the silence. We'll figure it out. But we're done, Vanessa? For good. I hang up before she can say anything else. It's done. I let the weight of it wash over me. There's no turning back now. The last chapter of this part of my life is closed. I don't know what's next. I don't know how I'll move on or if I even want to. But for the first time in months, I don't feel the crushing weight of her presence. I don't feel the suffocating pull of the lies. I look out the window at the city, the lights shimmering in the distance. I don't know what the future holds. But right now, I know one thing for sure: I'm done pretending. I'm done with the story she wrote for us. I'll write my own from here on out.